Alright, we're going to try this. See how this goes. I am going home from the handout, and I am very tired. It was a good handout today, and I think one really vital thing I need to do is just to kind of empty the self out. And, it helps to play the song I Surrender All several times. And just, turn myself over to the will of God. Whatever your will is, Lord, I'm going to go do it. And he really respected that today. And it was so crazy. I handed out over 50 things. I couldn't keep track. Bibles and New Testaments and a handful of Arabic material. I'm not sure what it was, but he was real excited to get it. And I felt like it was important that I did this today, and I'm glad I went. And we had a heat advisory. It's been very sunny and hot and humid, but I had a 2-liter bottle of diet generic brand soda. I had quarts and quarts of hydration stuff I made up. Some of it I made it myself. Some of it was actual Gatorade. Now what I found for the Gatorade is, I've said this before, I require a lot of salt. I have a condition. So what I did with the Gatorade is I think somebody wants the Bible. Let's see. Nope, she does not. So I added like a little extra salt when I made the Gatorade, and that was good for me. I had 2 quarts of that, a quart of water, and the 2 liters of soda while I was working, and boy, let me tell you, I sure needed that bathroom when I was done. But I managed to hold on, so that was good. And I feel like I made all my appointments today. There were some on the way, some on the way back. I don't want to discuss everything, but that was good. And I met a interesting lady, and she came walking up. I said, and her daughter had just gotten saved, and she basically wanted like some starter material. I'm like, oh yeah, well we got to hook you up. So I did, and I need to get more of those kids storybook things because those are just crazy. I'm going to put a link in the comments, because if you're doing any kind of outreach, I think it's really important to realize that it doesn't matter how bad the neighborhood is, what's going on in the neighborhood, who's involved in what criminal activity, the race of the recipient, any of that. It's been my personal experience in 20 years of street evangelism, thousands of Bibles distributed, that everyone is worried about their kids' spiritual welfare. Everyone. They won't take it for themselves, but they'll take it for the kids. And the nice thing about the storybook is the parent reads it to the kid. So the parent is reading it also. So, yeah, I'm sowing seeds. So I think that's really cool. And kid Bibles also. I like to do like the kid Bible and the storybook together, if at all possible. I had some children's Spanish stuff in my stash that I took. I didn't really do anything with that, but it's nice to know I have it. And I had other languages, which came in handy with the Arabic guy. Now he came by about 45 minutes, and I held up a couple different things, and he was like, no, that's not really the language I'm looking for. And he appeared to be Middle Eastern. And he came back about half an hour later, and he just seemed very wistful and hungry spiritually. And the Holy Spirit said he needs those tracts, the ones that from Grace and Truth. And I had some Grace and Truth tracts in Arabic I got ages ago, and I had them in my crate. And I tried to take good care of my stuff. They were in good shape. So I just grabbed a handful of those And I went over to him and I said, did I guess your language right? And I handed it to him and he just lit up like I plugged him in. And he said, yes, you did. And he was just beaming and he drove off. So he got the gospel, and who knows who else, because there's more than one track. And so that was very cool. And Spanish, of course. They're crazy for Spanish, any kind of Spanish I can do. And a lot of times in the bad neighborhoods in Houston, they can't afford air conditioning for their car, so the window's down. And if I walk up and I show them the Spanish Bible and I say gratis, which means free in Spanish, a lot of times they'll go. And then they take it in the car and they have a look at it. They pass it around to their friends in the car and they say, hey, can we get some more of these? And, so I do some good business that way. So, all right. So that was great. And I had 2 milk crates full when I left. I didn't count. I worry a lot about pride, because God has let me know that that's the one thing that can ruin my ministry is pride. So I had 2 milk crates when I left, and I had about a third of a milk crate now. I still have a fair amount of drinks, but I can just put those in the fridge. And I'm very happy that I do have a surplus of drinks, because once or twice I ran out of beverages on a Bible handout. And I don't know if I ever told this story, but it was the middle of summer, a day like today. I was about 100 pounds heavier than I am, so almost 300 pounds. And I ran out of drinks on a Bible handout. And I was very committed to finishing the handout. But I was not feeling well. I was dizzy. And all of a sudden this lady rolls up, puts her window down, a white lady about my age. And she shoves her arm out the window, and she says, here, take it. And it was a giant drink from McDonald's with a straw. And I took it, of course. I started drinking it. I know people that say, don't do that, don't ever. But it's been my experience. If I'm offered something on a Bible handout and I consume it, I never have a problem. God's gonna bless it, I think. So, I was drinking it, and I said, thank you, how did you know? She said, I didn't. And I said, well, let me give you a Bible. And she said, I don't want that stuff. Except she used a different word. And she said, I'm an atheist. And she shouted it at me. And she drove away. God used an atheist to bring me a cold drink on that handout. So, yeah, but I try to bring my own, because it's going to be a bad witness, I think, if I pass out, on the meeting. So, but I didn't have my wallet or anything with me, so it wouldn't have been too bad. But that was a good handout. And then I went and had pupusas at the little Honduras restaurant that's pretty much at the venue. And when I rolled in with this, the manager's like, I said, I know this looks bad, but I've got money I want to buy. I want to eat it if you're okay with that. And I took the money out and I showed him, and he's like, oh, okay. And so I put this out of the way, and with the signage facing the wall, which I thought was respectful. And then I had dinner. I have a lot of leftovers too. I ordered 4 pupusas. I only ate 1.5, and they were really good. Very, very fresh, very hot, it's delicious. And I don't like all the side stuff with it though. So they brought it anyway. I wish they didn't. I don't want to drive up their food cost. But that was. And then I called the bus home, and I had an interesting encounter with a bus driver. And I think I got prophesied over again. And he was talking about Mary and Martha, and how Mary chose the more important thing. And that was me. Whenever I did outreach, that I just went regardless of how I was received and what people thought. I just kept going because I wanted to serve God and to share His love with people. And that God was going to honor me for that. And honestly, I don't care about honors. I just want somebody to walk up to me in heaven and say, hey, thanks to you, I'm here. That's it. Or you were a step on the road communicating. That would make my day. So, and like I told the driver, you know, there's people out there, and they're thinking they're going to go home and kill themselves tonight, and they think nobody loves them, and they're in despair, they're hurting. I just want to help. And he liked that. And then I thanked him in Yoruba. He was impressed. So I've had him off and on for a while. He's a very nice driver. And so I'm going home. And I'm going to put my food in the fridge and take a nap. When I get up, I need to clean out the fridge because I have old food in there. I don't want to get sick. And I'm not worried about lunch for tomorrow because I've got the leftovers. But I think I'm going to do meal prep on Wednesday because I have Wednesday off. Today's Monday, so that'll be good. Somebody got some kind of delivery. It's like bottled water. Something in a big green box. I don't know what that is. It's not my business. So, yeah, I'm almost home, but that's it.